Let's now look at a variation of the previous problem. Suppose we are given a set of n cities and we are given m pairwise connections between them, which represent direct flight connections between the pair of cities. And each flight connection has a cost associated with it. So if you are looking at a flight from city U to a city V, there is a cost associated with this flight which can be thought of as being written on the edge from U to V. So this is clearly a graph problem because you're given a set of n cities, you're given a set of pairwise flight connections between them. Each flight connection has a cost associated with it. So this is going to be a weighted graph and it's going to be a directed graph. We are also given a particular vertex as the source. So let's say that these n cities have IDs, vertex IDs from 0 to n minus 1. Again, a convenient set of IDs. And one of these IDs is designated as the source. So the source vertex is an integer from 0 to n minus 1. We are also given a destination ID. So again, the destination ID belongs to this range from 0 to n minus 1. If the problem had been to find out the cheapest way to start from the source and to reach the destination, the given destination, that is something we could do using Dijkstra's algorithm. But this problem has an added constraint. The added constraint is that the number of stopovers must be at most k, where k is some whole number that could be as small as 0 or that could be as large as n minus 1. For example, if you are given this simple graph here where vertex 0 is designated as the source, vertex 2 is designated as the destination, and let's say we are given a value of k equal to 0. We are effectively asked what is the shortest way to get from city 0 to city 2 in a way that we have at most 0 stopovers. In other words, we are not allowed to have any stopovers, which means we have to directly get from the source to the destination. There is only one way to do that, which is to fly from the source to the destination directly. And so the cheapest way to achieve this is with a cost of 500, which is the cost of the direct flight from the source to the destination. But suppose the value of k had been equal to 1. That means we are allowed to have at most one stopover point en route from the source to the destination. In that case, we could take a flight from city 0 to city 1, stop over at city 1, and then continue from there to city 2. So this 2-hop route from 0 to 2 would have a total cost of 100 plus 100, which is 200. And 200 is smaller than 500, so this would be a cheaper way to get from the source to the destination. Now what if k was given to be 2? So we are allowed to have at most 2 stopovers along the way from the source to the destination. Well, there is only one other vertex in this graph apart from the source and the destination. So even for k equal to 2, the answer would be the same as the answer for k equal to 1. So the cheapest way to get from the source to the destination would still be along this 2-hop path, which costs $200. We are again assuming in this problem that the edge weights are all positive. Every flight costs a certain amount of money. So we won't have vertices repeating along the shortest path from the source to the destination, because a repeated vertex would create a cycle along the shortest path and the shortest path cannot have a cycle, because if it had a cycle we could remove the cycle and get a shorter path, which should be impossible. And so we cannot have any repeated vertices, which means our number of stopover points from the source to the destination could be at most n minus 2. Excluding the source and the destination itself, we could have at most n minus 2 other stopover points along the way, along the shortest path. And this makes sense because the number of stopover points is just one less than the number of edges along the shortest path. So another way to say that the number of stopovers must be at most k is to say that the number of edges along the shortest path must be at most k plus 1, because if there were k stopover points along the way from the source to the destination, then the total number of edges along that path would be one more than k. So that would be k plus 1. And we know that the shortest path from the source to the destination can have a length that is at most n minus 1 hops long. If it was any longer than that, then some vertex would get repeated, which we know is impossible. Now, why would a direct implementation using Dijkstra's algorithm not work? The reason it would not work is Dijkstra's algorithm optimizes for the shortest path in terms of the sum of the weights of the edges along the path. It doesn't optimize with respect to the number of hops. So if the shortest path takes more than k plus 1 edges, Dijkstra's algorithm would go for it. And that's what we saw in this small example here. If k is equal to 0, we are not allowed to have any stopovers, but if we applied Dijkstra's algorithm, it would return to us this 2-hop path, which has a total cost of 200. So this violates the constraints of the problem, which say that the number of stopovers must be at most 0, or the number of edges along the shortest path must be at most 1. So a 2-hop shortest path is not allowed as per the constraints of the problem, and so Dijkstra's algorithm would thus not work correctly.
Want to become a software engineer at Google? You can, like thousands of our students. You just need to learn from those who've already cleared FANG interviews. At Interview Kickstart, our interview prep courses are developed and taught live by 150 plus instructors from Tier 1 companies like Google and Facebook. Our courses are tailored to help you crack software engineering domain interviews, including back-end, full stack, machine learning, embedded systems, data science, and more. To learn more, book your 3 webinar slot today